You very much for joining us here at our Comac Department of Public Works yard. I'm joined by a number of officials on our emergency management team. First, of course, our Suffolk County Police Commissioner, Tim Sini, who'll be speaking in just a few moments. Also from our emergency management team, the Commissioner of Fire Rescue and Emergency Services, Joe Williams, Deputy Commissioner John Jordan, and from the Department of Public Works, our Commissioner Gil Anderson, and our Deputy Commissioner Tom Vaughn. I want to thank them all for their efforts. With spring just 1 week away, we are now gearing up for a potentially massive winter storm. We have seen these storms before, but this one appears to be particularly big, particularly challenging, and potentially very dangerous. We are looking at conditions. We are certainly under a blizzard watch here as spring is approaching, and we are looking at a storm that could bring between 12 to 18 inches here, foot and a half, potentially a little bit more than that. But on top of that, this storm will have potentially significant winds. We're looking at between 30 to 50 mile per hour winds, gusts up to 65 miles per hour on the east end. That will create, with the expected accumulation and the rate of snowfall, that will create whiteout conditions for tomorrow morning as the storm really hits its peak as predicted. So this is a major storm. This is a potentially dangerous storm. I will say this: we are along the southern edge of this storm, so we are monitoring the storm very closely. We were obviously hopeful over the weekend that predictions would not pan out, that things would move in a better direction, and does not appear that that is the case. However, again, we have seen in the past, when we're on the edge of these storms, that there can be a shift, and the impact can be less, can also be more, of course. So we are going to be monitoring that very closely, very carefully throughout the day. We will have obviously a much better sense of that by this evening, of exactly where we are and what the impacts will be here in Suffolk County. But we do expect that this will be a major, significant weather event that will be potentially a very dangerous storm, and that is exactly what we are preparing for right now. We are obviously coordinating with our state partner, with Governor Cuomo's office, the state emergency management team, and of course also coordinating with all of our local municipalities as they make preparations on their own for their work in the coming days. We are also going to be opening our emergency operations center in the very early hours this morning, tonight, I should say, for early Tuesday morning. We will be calling upon all of our different agencies to join us at the center to coordinate storm efforts as the storm continues. We are adding on additional 911 operators as of tonight to prepare for what would be expected to be an increased volume of calls during the storm event. We are also encouraging residents to sign up for our emergency notification system, our Code Red system, at suffolkcountiny.gov. The Code Red emergency system is a high-speed notification system, so if you're looking to get instant notifications on the storm, we would encourage you to go to suffolkcountiny.gov to sign up for the Code Red system. We're also asking those who are in need of sheltering assistance, or those who may be aware of people in need of sheltering assistance, to call our emergency sheltering unit, emergency services unit, at 631-854 9100. We certainly don't want anyone left out in the cold in these type of conditions during this kind of weather event. That's very important. If you need to reach the Suffolk County Office of Emergency Management for any reason, the 24-hour number is 852-4900, 631-852-4900. And we ask that you use 911 as we move forward in the storm only for real emergencies. With that, I'm going to ask our Suffolk County Police Commissioner Tim Sini to come forward and give us a few words on the preparation with the Suffolk County Police Department. Commissioner.
Thank you and good morning. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. So today obviously will be pretty good for the storm until later this evening. So you should start planning your commute home as the day progresses. The sooner you can leave to get home tonight, the better. The roads will worsen as the evening goes on. Tomorrow, if we can stay off the roads, that's obviously the best case scenario. If we're going to get what we predict, it's going to be tough out there on the roads. So if we can stay off the roads tomorrow, that's best case scenario. While on the roads, obviously use extra caution, drive at reduced speeds, keep extra distances between you and other motorists. The Suffolk County Police Department will be out there in full force. We'll have our Humvees ready to go in case of the need for emergency missions. We'll have our high axle trucks also out there in full force. Our patrol officers will be keeping an eye out for homeless individuals throughout the day to conduct appropriate outreach to try to get those folks into shelters. We'll be out there in full force, obviously, as we always are. And I want to thank all the hardworking men and women of the Suffolk County Police Department as we prepare for this storm. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to thank, again, our Department of Public Works. Our teams have been readying for the storm as we became aware of its potential late last week. Our equipment is ready to go. They'll continue preparations throughout the day and at a certain point begin pre-treating efforts later in the day today. So we are also, of course, coordinating with emergency management officials over at Fire Island. You know, this being a nor'easter, that is always a concern with erosion and coastal flooding. We're on the coastal flooding watch, so that's going to be a potential impact of this storm that is raising real concerns and something we're going to be watching closely in terms of response, emergency management response to that. With that, we'll take any questions.
Steve, a lot of people are asking, at least to us, about possible road closures. I know a lot of that comes from the governor and a state of emergency, but people are trying to anticipate that. Can you talk a little bit about whether there may be roads closed on Long Island?
Yeah, we've had that experience in the past, obviously, where we've seen, you know, a rapid rate of snowfall, lots of cars on the roadway, and, you know, people just get stuck in place. And it is an absolute nightmare for the plow operators to try to clear those roads when there's so many cars out there. So we've seen, you know, Governor Cuomo has made the call in the past, you know, shutting down the LIE. It makes it so much easier, more efficient, more effective to clear those roadways and get it back to where it needs to be as quickly as possible so people can move again, and especially those emergency management vehicles. So, you know, that's an issue that we're going to be discussing today, I know, with the state. And you know, based on what the updated forecasts are, we'll probably be having a decision on that, I would expect, or some indications later in the day today.
In terms of storm surge, what are you expecting?
The storm surge is obviously a concern here with the nor'easter. You know, we're not exactly clear exactly what we're going to see, but it is something that we're monitoring closely. It is a big concern. A nor'easter like this, you know, with the winds the way they are, you know, that is something that could potentially be a big impact on the South Shore communities.
Are you asking residents to take precautions there, evacuate, or?
We're not, yeah, we're going to be providing updates later in the day today. You know, what we're looking at right now is potential for coastal flooding. and there's nothing to indicate right now that evacuations would be necessary. But if that were to change, we would be indicating that later in the day.
As terms for preparation today regarding the yard and all of the yards across Long Island, the typical procedure, grinding it, putting the salt and sand down first, that's how you will proceed today into tonight?
That's exactly right. So all the preparations for getting the vehicles ready to go, making sure that everything is good, all the equipment is up to speed, and then having all the trucks ready to do the pre-treating on those roadways. That'll happen later in the day today.
So the brunt of the storm will probably hit during the morning rush. Are you advising residents to try to work from home, stay home?
We are, again, looking at conditions for the morning commute that basically would be whiteout conditions. If the storm track stays the way it is, where you have a rapid rate of snowfall and very high winds, those are conditions where you cannot drive. Those are conditions where it is exceedingly difficult for the plow operators to be able to move. So if this storm is on track the way it appears to be right now, then it would be extremely dangerous for people to be out on the roadways tomorrow morning.
I know a lot of things go into effect when a state of emergency is declared, whether it's by the governor or when. Do you have any idea of when that may be, today, tomorrow, and what takes effect for people who don't understand what that means?
Sure.
What does that mean for Long Islanders?
Well, what a state of emergency indicates is that the government is stating very clearly that there is a danger to public safety, potentially to public health, and basically the government has the capacity then to do certain things, to suspend laws, suspend rules that are necessary, absolutely related to protecting public safety. So if it's moving cars off the roadways, to just do that automatically, and things of that nature. In terms of when that may happen, again, we'll be having conversations with emergency management officials throughout the day, and we would expect something later tonight, I would think.
And the National Weather Service is now saying this might track more inland and hit the northwest portions of our area. Have you heard that?
Well, again, as I'd said earlier, we're on the southern edge of the storm, so we have seen this happen before. If we were, right in the middle of this event, this wouldn't be any question. I wouldn't even be saying that. But we are on the southern edge. That means, look, can the storm shift? Could the impact be less? Yes. Could it be more, potentially? We have seen that shift happen before. So what I'm saying to residents, continue to monitor the storm, monitor media reports for what is happening with the storm today, and we'll have a much better sense by this evening of exactly what we should be getting hit with in Suffolk.
I'm sorry, did you mention how many spreaders and plows you have?
Yeah, we have 170 pieces of equipment just in the county, plus another 175 contractors ready to go. And then that's on top of all of the local municipal equipment, as well as the state equipment that'll be out on the roadways throughout the storm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.